I don't have an idea of what I want to record. I don't have an idea of what I want to say. I'm just showing up. And I think that sometimes that's just half the battle. We think we need to perform or say the right thing or do the right thing or be the right person in order to show up when really just showing up is all that we need. I haven't been feeling very creative lately at all this week, to be honest. And this episode is probably going to feel a little bit more like a video diary than anything that I've posted lately. My background is different again. But again, we're noticing. Just noticing. I feel very confined in this room. Like trapped. Like I don't have freedom or expansiveness or the freedom to be myself. Like I can't take up space. And I have a hard time showing up when I feel like I can't take up space. I have a hard time showing up in any capacity when I feel like I need to perform. But what if right now, the confinement that I'm in, the little box that I've put myself in, is to show me that sometimes it doesn't really matter where your surroundings are or who you're with or who you're not with. You just need to show up. Because if we can't show up fully, no matter our environment or our circumstance, we're always going to be looking for an excuse for why we can't do something. There have been so many times in my life where I have tried to find an excuse. An excuse for why I can't show up, an excuse for why I'm not perfect, an excuse for why I shouldn't be loved. I had this idea in my head that in order to be loved, I need to be really, really successful. So I boss girled my way to the top of my career, made a lot of money, achieved high success. And within the last year, year and a half of the ages of 33 to 34, I have not felt successful. I have not felt at the top of my game. I have not felt that high achieving validation that I would get from money, success, whatever it might be. Because once that was stripped away from me, I'm going to say stripped away, not anything very dramatic. It's just more, I made the decision that I did not want to be that person anymore. And I had to trust myself that I made the decision for the right reason. I started thinking more long term. My dad told me something one time, and it's like one of those things a parent will say to you that just like it's like a little seed and it gets planted into your brain and then it sprouts slowly over time or just unexpectedly and you're like, "Oh my God." I had all these ideas and dreams of wanting to start my own wellness center for a very, very long time, which is why I created my company Mindspace and why I was a successful mental wellness coach for a while. And it was a dream that I had that I wanted to build this space in the Pacific Northwest that was like a cabin that would be a sanctuary for people to go to heal what they needed to heal holistically, because that's what helped me, right? This whole platform started with my mental health and how I could help other people do the same and overcome what they need to overcome. But in having that vision, I realized to do that alone is not something I want to do. And I felt like I had to do it alone. I had seen all these, influencers or girls like on the internet who accomplished all these very successful things completely by themselves. And I always wondered in the back of my head, okay, well, why can't I do that? How come I'm not able to be as successful as they are? How come they could do it by themselves, but for some reason I'm really struggling to do it on my own? And it was for a lot of reasons. I think I let my career be dictated by someone else instead of me. I let my path be dictated by someone else and not me. And I let my idea of success become who I was. And so I always felt like I had to be with people who were also very, very successful in some way in order to make me feel better. And really, it didn't make me feel better at all because they were just very surface level dynamics. And so I took a step back and I went, well, am I creating this because I truly want this vision? Or am I doing it because I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do because of the box that I put myself in? And so then I was showing up in a way that was confined. And the words of my father stuck into my brain. He goes, Sabby, be successful, accomplish the things you want to accomplish, but no man wants another man. And those words stayed in my head for like the rest of my life. That I think he told me that when I was about 29, almost 30. And it didn't hit me until a couple years ago when I went, oof, do I want to be the woman that is so focused on trying to build an empire alone, without any help, without anyone to do it with me, that then I won't have time to be a mother, to be a wife, to raise my kids, or to have a life that is more fulfilling and to be more in my feminine energy, which lately being in my feminine energy has felt uncomfortable to me. And I've been staying at my dad's house. But when I'm back in my own space, I am in my feminine energy. And it's almost like I've been avoiding it because I feel like I need to be here because I need to be successful and I need to do things and I need. And my creativity and the pressure of success are kind of directly correlated right now. Like, I feel like I have to be creative because if I'm not creative, I'm not going to be successful. And that's not creativity. Creativity isn't forced. Creativity is born. Creativity is inspired. Creativity comes naturally. It's not something that you sit there and you plan. It comes with an idea, with a spark. One of my favorite videos that I created was this idea I had in the car just driving up the coast of PCH. And I just like the music was on, and this song by Rez came on, who's like an EDM DJ. I do like some EDM music. Um, and it reminded me of meditation and what it felt like to meditate and how I feel when I do that. And so the vision in my head was something I had purely of myself because I thought of it. It wasn't because I was looking for inspiration from anyone else. It wasn't because I was asking and seeking validation or consuming more content to create content. I had the idea, I had the confidence, I shot it and I put it up, and it was one of the videos that I felt made the most sense for me to create. It was organic. It wasn't forced. And so when I think about my career and where I'm at with my life and all that, like I get scared sometimes, like, do I seem like a lost person because I'm 34? No. I'm not lost. I'm just for the first time creating my own path. For the first time fully trusting my intuition. For the first time doing things and pursuing things that feel good to me, that feel aligned to me, that my intuition is telling me to go towards. And I don't know where the heck it's gonna go, but I'm gonna go. And that's scarier because when you've been given training wheels your whole life, when you've been told what to do your whole life, it's safe. It's expected. You know where you're gonna go. You know what's gonna happen. It's scarier to carve your own path. It's scarier to take the map that many people have come up with because of their own paths and to take it and go, you know what? No one's gone over here, so that's what I'm gonna do. And it's even scarier to do it alone. I think that's my biggest fear is like, I don't want to do anything alone anymore. I'm kind of just tired of it. You know, like I'm tired of trying to figure this out on my own. I'm tired of creating content on my own. I'm tired of just isolating myself and hermiting myself and putting myself in situations where I'm not feeling supported by anyone or or not allowing people in fully out of fear that like if I rely on someone else to help me, I don't know, like that fear of like if I rely on someone else to help me, will I be able to ever do anything on my own again? You know, like the fear of losing myself a little bit. And so it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for support. It's okay to figure out what you need to figure out mentally and emotionally with other people. You don't always have to figure everything out on your own. You know, I told my sister that the other day. I told, I also told someone else this yesterday on the phone. I went, and it's funny because like I'm being mirrored back everything that I am healing within myself, but in they had alluded to some fears that they're having. And I had just said, I go, you know, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. And they chuckled, and I stopped myself and I went, good point. I also don't have to figure this out on my own. You don't have to figure anything out on your own either. We're conditioned as a society to, and I think it's an American thing. I don't think it's a European thing because when I go to Europe and I see my family, my friends there, there's such a big community. And people, and I don't want to make a huge generalization and hope, you know, hopefully I'm not wrong, but like from what I've seen is people are there for each other. There isn't this very weird isolation of you must figure it out by yourself. You're going to be more successful if you do it on your own. People are going to respect you more if you figure it out on your own. Really? Or are you just trying to figure it out on your own because you feel like you have something you need to prove? Because if you don't figure it out on your own and you actually include another person and you ask for the support and you ask for the help and you ask for the connection and you ask for the intimacy, does that make you any less? It doesn't. It makes you a human being. We're so conditioned to doing things alone that we seldom ask for help, and then in turn, we have a hard time receiving. Because we feel like we need to do something or work hard or sacrifice in order to receive. And that's the limiting beliefs and the mindsets that I grew up around because my father and his family suffered greatly before they were successful. I mean, they like from the bottom up, that success was built. It was not given, it was built. But it was built from fear, it was built from scarcity, it was built from darkness. And when something is built from darkness, eventually you're always going to think and believe that that's what you need in order to become successful, but you don't. What if success in any way, in your career, in your relationships, is better built with community, better built with someone else, better built with someone who chooses to do that with you? Imagine trying so hard to figure out how to build your own damn house when there's people and societies and community and relationships all around you who are like, hey, We have the tools to help you. Can you just ask? If you ask us for this tool, you don't have to try to figure out how to build it yourself and waste more time and energy and dig yourself into the ground. It's scarier to let someone else help you because when that happens, it's scary to get let down. It's scary to be abandoned. It's scary to get hurt, but like that's life. You have to figure out how to let other people in and still allow yourself to be whole, still allow yourself to be sovereign, still allow yourself to exist. Because you will never lose yourself in the right situations. I've always found that if I've lost myself in a dynamic, it's because it wasn't meant for me and they didn't allow me to be me because for some reason they felt threatened, and again, no malicious reason, but they probably felt threatened with me being and wanting to be sovereign within myself because they didn't know how to do it on their own. And so if you're in constantly in relationships where you lose yourself, it's because the other person doesn't really want you to find yourself. Because if you find yourself, then they're scared that they're not going to have any importance in your life. Life cannot be created on its own. It always needs something else in order to create that. So if you want to create your own family, if you want to create your own business, if you want to create your own, whatever it might be, not everything is always going to be cultivated and created completely on your own. You're going to need help from someone at some point. When I started my business, my Mindspace business, a few years ago, I got real with myself and I was like, I need help. I'm like, I can't do all this by myself. I know in order to be successful, I need an assistant. Like, I need someone else who's going to help me get to where I want to be because I can't do this on my own. That's not that's not me belittling myself. That's not me putting myself down. That's not me saying that I'm not capable. No, it's me going, "Hey, you know what? No. Help is okay." Any great business is built off of using other people's strengths to help us and vice versa. If you try to do everything alone all the time, you're just going to exhaust yourself and you're not going to get to where you want to be. You're not. It's easier to be alone because it's safe, because you know yourself, you know all your weak points, you know what you need to work on, but when it's being reflected back to you from another person, oh, that's scary. It's scary because you're going to be shown parts of yourself that you've been avoiding that you don't want to heal. I very recently have been learning about patience, surrender, and not trying to control an outcome and to just enjoy the moment of how things are unfolding instead of trying to push for clarity, instead of trying to push for validation or get advice from other people about situations because I want the validation of the fantasy that's in my head so that I feel better about myself and my reality because I don't want to live in my current reality. And living in my current reality would truthfully just make me sad. It would make me frustrated. It'd make me feel a little down because I'm not where I'd like to be in life. But then that itself is creating a different fantasy and a different narrative that also isn't true. Because is it true that I'm not where I want to be in life? Not really. If I look back to where I used to be to now, oh my gosh, I'd be so proud of myself, right? So, like, a narrative and a fantasy are two very different things. And that's something I'll get into on the next episode now that I'm feeling a little bit more inspired and creative. But connection is scary, but it's needed. Support is scary, but it's needed. Being alone is safe. Being alone is not the answer to everything. Sometimes, but not to build a life, not to be happy. not to heal, not to get to where you need to be. So that's where I'm at with all my things. Is I'm happy that like I have a mentor, a wonderful mentor that supports me with my business, because that was something that I got real with myself when I stopped and I went, I can't build this on my own. I need a mentor. I need someone who can help me. It's the same with anything in your life, in any relationship. Same with therapy. Like there's only so much healing I can do on my own mentally and emotionally, that I went, no, you know what? I need the support. I'm gonna get a therapist. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. It just means that I need to have support, and I need community. I need connection. We do. We all need that. So stop believing this narrative that's going around in this world of like, you're tough if you're doing things alone and it makes you more successful and more respected. No, it doesn't. It just makes you more alone, more confused, more isolated, more lost. So just put your pride aside and go get the support you need. Go ask your friends for help. Do the things that you need to do to connect to you to get you to where you need to be. Because you can't build the boat completely by yourself. I don't know. I don't know. I was gonna make a really weird analogy. I just stopped myself. Uh, Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this just absolute rant. And I hope you gained something from this, and I hope this helped you in some way. But if you needed a reminder that you don't need to do everything alone, you don't need to figure everything out alone, then hopefully this was it. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube or whatever streaming platform you happen to be listening to this on, I encourage you to follow, like, subscribe, and rate this so that it pushes it out to whoever else might need it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you ever want to chat more about anything that this podcast is about, you know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and good old TikTok. And be sure to stay tuned for my Tea Time with Sabby episodes.